I'll be honest, because English is not my first language, I'm not sure how cheesy this ad actually is. I know it is, just not how much. Regardless of that, I really like this commercial. Yeah, the lyrics can be considered cringe, and the Japanese ad was way cooler, but the memories that I have with this catchy music are so strong. It reminds me of how weird, different and fresh Splatoon looked in comparison to other Nintendo's IPs in 2015. Splatoon rapidly became one of Nintendo's biggest IPs, which is definitely no easy achievement. And 8 years after its original release, one sequel was produced and another is soon coming out. I want to reflect on the aging process of a series so proud of its freshness. I want to know what is that magic that started in the first game and if the series still retains that magic, and how Nintendo's approach has affected the series. Well, there's a lot to talk about, so let's get right into it. Every Nintendo fan remembers where they were in the E3 of 2014, an iconic presentation where they gave us everything: games, toys, and humor, and Splatoon was showed for the first time there. Now, usually we expect from Nintendo a new Mario, Zelda, Kirby, Metroid, a new anything, but not a new IP, and if it is, it's probably a small one. So Splatoon was already breaking expectations in that sense, being one of the big announcements of that show. But beyond that, it was a third-person shooter focused on online matches of 4 vs 4. At the time my thought was, is that even allowed for a Nintendo game? The first time that I got to properly understand the concept was on the global Testfire, an event to test the servers and give a taste of the game before launch. Seriously, I will never forget the feeling of playing Splatoon for the first time. Everything clicked so fast. The concept was clever and easy, even for me, a person that almost never plays shooters. The ink was the key to everything, working as both the main weapon and a way to secure your turf. And in your turf, you could transform into a squid and hide. The only mode in the Testfire was Turf Wars, so who paints the most win. Each session of the demo was up only for 1 hour. Every time that the session ended, I wanted to play more. And again, not only I'm not a shooter guy, but I'm also not a fan of online play. The concept alone was enough to make the game fun, but the execution was also perfect. All that amazing ink physics running in 60 FPS, it's one of the most beautiful experiences on the good old Wii U. And the art direction, the lore, the music, it was... there's no other words, it was fresh. My thought at the time was, holy shit, Nintendo actually did it! They created a new IP in 2015 that will be relevant enough for years, that may possibly grow to the size of their other big names. The game was original and special in every single way. It justified its existence as a new brand. Splatoon would never work as a Mario shooter spin-off. How they would explain characters hiding in their ink? And we would lose all the amazing culture inside the game, including music with lyrics in their own language. Despite being a Wii U project, Splatoon was a success. I believe that in Japan it was actually more than a success, becoming the best-selling Wii U game there. People fell in love with the characters, visuals, and of course, gameplay. Splatoon was also proof that Nintendo can trust in their newer teams. Even if it was completely different from their other products, it had the level of polish and quality that we expect from them. Alright, but where does Splatoon stand right now? The approach that Nintendo has been following is to keep the core gameplay experience the same and adding new elements or small changes on top of that. And I want to make clear here that in my opinion, Splatoon 2 is a game worthy of the name sequel, because it adds a lot, and that will probably be the same for 3. There's always new weapons, maps, specials, modes, a single player adventure, and music to justify a new entry. We can't call that a lazy sequel. However, yes, the controls, the overall feeling, the visuals, probably the engine are all really similar. Personally speaking, when I bought Splatoon 2, I immediately noticed that the game did not grab me like one. Of course not, I already knew how the concept worked, I just wanted the same experience on my Switch. But the truth was that after a while I simply stopped playing the game and rarely revisit it on my Switch. And talking to some friends, I realized that I was not the only one to do that. Maybe the series lost its appeal on the second round, maybe the freshness was everything that Splatoon has. With the recent announcement of the third entry and seeing how similar the game still is on the trailer, I was worried that the series would stagnate. And then, recently, I decided to revisit Splatoon 2 and play some ranked matches. Man, this game is good. I was immediately hooked again, playing tons of matches every day. It was a reminder of how solid the core gameplay was and why they did not change that. The period that I stopped playing was more about me than the actual game. It was simply burnout after playing hours and hours of the first one. So yes, the freshness of the original Splatoon is no more. And was a huge achievement. But what is even bigger than that is the longevity of what they created. Everything stops being new eventually, but that doesn't mean it stops being relevant. The model that Nintendo is using right now of refreshing the series with new big entries is working, at least for me. Because yes, that's what I like to see. I like to see those games receiving a huge amount of attention and not only some updates. Splatoon's not coming out every year. The developers are taking their time to deliver polished and great experiences. It's rare to see companies following the same method for games focused on online multiplayer nowadays. Usually there's a system of constant updates, seasons, sometimes a free-to-play model is applied, and being completely honest with you all those methods feel a little half-baked to me sometimes. Maybe I'm just being old and grumpy, but I really don't enjoy to see games as services. One of the worst experiences to me is to open the menu and be immediately faced with a screen full of options and microtransactions with real money. It takes me out of the experience and mutilates the offering of a game. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe in the future Splatoon will become free-to-play, but at the moment, I can't see that as the ideal path for the franchise. I see nothing wrong with Splatoon receiving new entries in a gap of 3 to 4 years. I'm excited for Splatoon 3 and I'll probably be excited for 4, 5, 6 or what's next. In the same way that I look forward to the new Smash, Mario Kart or Zelda. It's the method that always worked for Nintendo, and if the classic formula of shooting ink gets old, as we know it will, I'm pretty sure that eventually they will reinvent the franchise, and that's okay, it's what they do. For now, fresh or not, Splatoon still is a lot of fun. So everyone, let's discover who's the winner of our last giveaway. For those who not remember, this is the giveaway of the video about Nintendo Switch Sports. If you leave a comment in that video, that's probably a chance that you can win right now. So let's see who's the winner. 3, 2, 1, go! Alright, here it is, Marluhan. I don't know if I'm pronouncing correctly. Man, congratulations, you just won $20 eShop cards. If you could please leave a comment in this video, it would help us a lot to enter in contact with you, alright? So that's it from me guys, congratulations Marluhan. Until next time, bye!